We are reading a hand of a 30-year-old person. And before I start the video, I would request you to press the bell icon on YouTube and don't miss another update. You can get reading from me. These are the numbers and the email that I mentioned. And now we straight away head to this particular hand image. I will be talking about the important points that I see on this particular palm and the topmost lines that I see on his palm. This is the headline and this is basically the life, and this is the starting point of your life. And on this starting point of your life, there's a backward kind of a line pointing towards the mount of Jupiter. This is the first basically finger. This is the pointing finger. Pointing finger is the finger of authority. This is the finger of administration, religion, politics, and honor. So whenever we find a reasonably strong kind of a backward line originating from the headline, it is basically meaning that we are getting guided by Jupiter. Like if it's originating from the headline moving backward, that means the mind is getting guided by Jupiter. And if it's from the lifeline, it's basically life guided by the Jupiter. Jupiter being a big planet, it means expansion, growth, honor, administration, religion, organizational skills, all these kind of skills, and belief. That's a belief, and spirituality also comes from this particular finger. So people who have these backward lines, they basically rise up to a high position. It could be government or it could be non-government as well. See, people generally think that that only governance comes in only in government job. It's not like that. It can be a private job or a NGO or a government organization. Everywhere, people who are at the top, they are governing many people. So out here, this person is likely to govern many people. The chances are there, and this is happening at an early. This line is at a very early period of one's life. It's not like happening at this particular moment of life at the later period. It's at the early period. So these early periods, whatever happens in our life, that gets duplicated. So let's assume this particular age is approximately. If this age is approximately 18, so this portion is before the age of 18. So even at the earlier period of a person's life, the person would have like kind of managed many things in the class or college or all those things. So those things got duplicated. So this is one part. The second part is that that both the head and the lifeline are joined at the initial start for a long duration of time. So the person becomes very cautious, shy, hardworking, and contemplating. This is the other aspect. Other aspect on the headline can be seen is something like this is the headline, and there's an upward kind of a line moving towards the mount of Mercury. See, this point of life on the headline is basically age approximately 34. Why we say 34? Because the intersection of the money line and the headline, this intersection is basically age 35. So at this intersection, before this intersection, there's an upward line. Upward lines pointing towards the fingers are always good. Downward, if there was a downward line, that would mean disappointment. So those things are not there. Upward line can be seen somewhere at the age of 34 or so, where some good things are going to happen. When it's pointing towards the mount of Mercury, see, Mercury is basically for statistical skills, it is basically for analytical skills, it is for engineering, medical science, or law, understanding of law, mathematics. All these kind of things come from Mercury, and upward line from the headline moving towards Mercury is considered to be good. It is also known as the writer's folk, a person who is good at writing. So this also possibility can arise. Now we take a look at the money line. See, in the initial period, this is the initial period of the money line, and let's assume that this is basically a river. This intersection is age 35, this intersection, and this portion of the money line is after the age of 35, and this is basically 53. So what's happening is somewhere out here there's a slightly inward kind of a line pointing towards the mount of Mars. Mars is a red planet. Red means anger, aggression, and fire. See, as such, Mars is a good planet for money, but a money line that moves a little bit downwards in pointing towards Mars basically doesn't give benefits. So it is at this particular moment of time the person might lose something as well. So it's something like a river, this is here, and a tributary is going away from the river, so some money is flowing out from this particular person. So this is one part. But and this age could be approximately 29-30 or so. It could be some approximately. Now there's another line coming from the Mount of Moon and joining it into the main money. And see, this is the Mount of Moon. So it means more flow is coming to the main river somewhere out here. So betterment coming to this particular somewhere at this particular moment of time. If this age is 35, so this age could be approximately where this line is joining in. This age could be approximately 31, 32. That's the approximate age, I would say. So so some betterment and a line that is joining in into the main money line. Sometimes we also call it like lady luck. Moon is basically everything to do with public appreciation, women or associations, all these kind of things, and it could bring in benefits from the mother, sister, and most probably the wife, because this line is joining somewhere out here. So the chances are it is to do with the wife as well. So benefits coming from that side as well. Now this is a beautiful sign. Now as the line basically moves forward, at this juncture on the headline, you would notice that two lines are developing. Two sources of income developed from the age of 35 till the age of 53. So this is going to be a marked change in the person's life. Whenever we find another supporting line, see, it's something like if a person has got two lines of money, it's something like he has one source of income but another develops, and this another line could also be their partner earning something, or it could be they themselves are earning something for themselves and for the family as well. So it's not purely that their partner starts to work. It could be they themselves could basically start to work, or maybe have another source of income. So this is what the dual kind of a line of fate or Saturn basically indicates. This is basically the line of fate. You can call it line of fate, you can call it line of money, or anything, something like this. So this is the other part. Now we take a look at the other aspect. This is basically the money line, and there's a line that is coming and pointing towards the Mount of Mercury. See, on the Mount of Mercury itself, you have these small 2 or 3, 4 lines out here. These are not very long kind of lines. Some people have got long kind of lines, and these lines are not extremely distinct and clear. So although the good part is that they are not crisscrossing each other. So crisscrossing lines are bad lines. This area depicts your analytical and calculations area. So having these independent lines means that you are having multiple set of skills, and people who you don't have those, but I'm still telling you what basically it means. If these were crossing over like these, then it would mean that miscalculations are going to take place, or miscommunication is going to take place. That is not the case out here. Although if there was a deeper line, I would have certainly said the skills must they would have been sharpened much more compared to these dim kind of line. That means the person has the skills, but the person is not sharpening the skills as much as they basically should. Or there's the only good part is having less lines and no confusion out here. So that's the reason why the person would be able to calculate and communicate in the best possible way. This area basically has to do with science, mathematics, engineering, and medical science, engineering, law, or anything, or writing. All those kind of things have to do with Mercury. And the line that is coming out here, this is reasonably okay. Could have been much more stronger, but still it is there. So a triangle is getting formed out here. So I'll just explain to you what basically the triangle is. It's a formation money. It's a money triangle. It's formed with the money line. This is basically the money line. Money line, many people might have this kind of a money line, but not many people might have this particular line. This is the line of skill. So skills is the thing that brings in money, and skills is basically that can make or break a situation. So this is the good part, and this is the headline. That means the thought process line. So this portion of the line of head that is the thought process line, is after the age of 35 to the age of approximately till the retirement age, approximately 60-65. So if this portion of the life is reasonably good, then it would basically signify that the chances brighten up for the career prospects. I'm a little bit unclear because the quality of the image is not so good. I would ask this person to send me the image once more. What I can see is that if the line of head is something like this and the line is branching out here, if this is a branching out, then it's a bad sign. But it could be other way around. It could be just another money line, and that basically continues out here. So downward branches from the headline are disappointments. If this is a line branching out from the headline, then it would mean disappointment. But I don't think it is something like this. It could be more to do with another money line going something like this. Now we move on to the other aspect, that is the sun line. This is basically the sun line, and the sun line is going somewhere in the middle of the third and the fourth finger. This is going a little bit inward out here. So what happens is that sun line basically signify our career, how good our career is going to be. You'd notice that the line is absent somewhere out here, so it's not available out here. In the books they say that, like, they draw a line and they would say this is age 20, this is 25, this is 35, this is 44, this is 53, and this is beyond 53. So absence of the line doesn't mean no career. It doesn't mean that the person would have no career at all. It could mean unlimited possibilities. So this is so when we don't see any line, that is good enough. Like, it's not a negative sign. But beyond the heart line, above the heart line, and between the finger, the line is very distinct and clear. It basically signifies that the chances brighten up after the age of 53 to the maximum. In the real case scenario, I found that if a person has got a strong line under the finger of sun, it basically signifies that the chances are that even in his earlier period out here is going to be good as well. It's not like that only after the age of 53 everything is going to be good. See, we have to apply common sense as well. It's not like that nothing is happening in the earlier period of life and suddenly you get everything. It's not like that. So having a strong line of sun after the age of 53 doesn't mean only after the age of 53. It could be before as well. See, the strong line basically means that the person is kind of energizing his work. It is something like there are no clouds in the sky and the sun is shining bright. When there are no clouds, the sun is going to shine bright. When the sun is shining bright, the line is deep and clear. When the line is deep and clear, it means that there's clarity as to what the person wants to do. Many people have very, very dim and dull kind of lines out here. So those means basically doubts in the person's life. So those are basically wrong indications, and doubts never give success. So I'm just going to take a look at his left hand as well for a brief moment, and then I'll come back to the right hand. Same indications of backward line on the Mount of Jupiter I've already described to this particular person, and there is similarity as far as the Mercury mount also goes. These are comparatively, like, these are independent lines, not crisscrossing each other, so these are reasonably okay. But if there was much more strength, then I would have basically said that the career prospects would have brightened up because the person is sharpening their skills. Out here, the person has got multiple set of skills, but they are not sharpening it as much as they can. So I would suggest that they should concentrate on only one thing instead of multiple things. This is the other part. As far as the difference between the left and the right hand is, left is the hand of past, right is the hand of present, left is passive hand, right is basically active hand. I'm just going to tweak the image a little bit and see what else we can basically see on this particular hand image. Just give me a brief moment. So this is basically the headline, this is the money line, the age is 35 out here. So out here you would notice that the line is coming and kind of striking the fate and the headline somewhere at the age of 35. So 35, there could be problems. See, why we say 35 could be problems is This is the initial period of the one's lifeline. This is the initial period. So this is the portion where spark take place in one's life. Basically, spark is something like, because this is the area of Mars, and Mars being a red planet, red means anger, aggression and fire. So a spark take place out here. So any line that are horizontal, these are horizontal lines, so these are negative kind of lines. It is something like the person is traveling in a car. This is the person is traveling in a car, okay, from here till the end. This is the life course, and in the middle, if a line comes and crosses, it means a scooter or a cycle or a car or a truck coming and striking you. The stronger lines would mean, if there was a strong line, it would mean that a big truck is coming. But if it is a comparatively weak line, then probably just a scooter or cycle is coming and striking this particular person. So what happens is, striking on the money and the headline means that at the age of 35, these things might crop up. The problems might crop up at the age of 35. The mental as well as financial issues can come up during that particular moment of time. If we zoom in, this portion of the headline is before the age of 35. This portion of the headline is before the age of 35. You would notice small branches before the age of 35 pointing towards the mount of Mars. See, whenever line from the head move backward towards Mars, it means it is moving towards fire. That means mind is moving towards fire. It means anger and aggression is coming onto this particular person's head. So I would suggest that the person should cool down mentally and take decisions a little bit with care, because there could be few problems that may arise due to anger. So coolness would bring that the chances of wrong decisions basically decreases with like they get negated if we are careful. Now we take a look. In this particular case also, the money line is coming from the mount of moon. So through public appreciation, the person earns money or help from friends or help from unknown people or females. Those are the beneficial thing. It could be mother, it could be sister, it could be daughter, it could be wife, or it could be anybody. As far as the heartline goes, the heartline is very distinct and clear. It has got few branches. At the edge, it basically signifies love for children. The person asked me regarding his health. So health can be seen on almost all possible lines. We have to cover each and every line to see health. Although the health is basically mainly seen from the area of Mars and the area of Venus. Venus is basically all the energy and stamina and vitality, and Mars is basically the fire. The fire, and this is basically lifeline, is your engine. So if the lifeline is neat and clean, as we see that the lifeline is reasonably neat and clean, so no such trouble should basically come to this particular person. As such, there are not too many crisscrossing lines over the area of mount of Mars. So even Mars plays a major role, because this is the area of your fire. This is basically the spark plug in your engine. If there are too many lines, see, there are a few lines like horizontal lines are there, but these are not crisscrossing lines. Although these are lines, they are going to periodically trouble this particular person from time to time, but it's not going to affect in a very very major way. So and the lifeline is not so broken or anything like that at any given moment of time. If there were too many lines out here, the person would be getting angry over wrong issues. That doesn't take place. Backward lines out here on the mount of Mars, stomach can get affected, not surely, but stomach can get affected. Mount of Venus is reasonably good without any bad marking. Bad markings are crisscrossing lines. There are not too many crisscrossing lines, so reasonably okay. The area is also appearing to be a little bit padded. The Venus area should be padded, because this is the source of energy. This is the fuel in your life. This is the petrol, diesel, this is the ghee or butter, refined butter in your life. This is where the energy comes from, and this area appears to be padded. So it means that even if something happens, the chances for recovery increases. So this is a good part in this particular person's eye. Apart from even these two major planets regarding health, we have to see the heart line. The heart line is very distinct and clear and singular kind. So in that way, it is good, because heart also takes a beating for many people, because many people with weak heart, they would basically kind of would be anxiety prone, and they would get stressed up and those things. But the person does not get stressed up. The line in itself is very deep and clear and singular without any branches. Although there are few lines that are running parallel out here, and there's a branch something like this, 1 or 2 or 3 branches, but these things are still, even in spite of these branches, I would say the line itself is deep and clear and independent. So in that way, I would say that the person would be able to handle stress very well and would not be anxiety prone according to the left hand. I would move back to the right hand, but before that, I find the sun line to be prominent even in this particular case. There's a inward kind of a line going towards between the sun mount and the Mercury mount. So this area basically signify probably ancestral property also the person may get, or this is what one of the palmists told me, but I say a little bit different. See, I say because it's in your hand, it basically signifies something to do with sun is basically your name and fame and creativity and art and music, and this is going a little bit inside. So, and this is also the risk taking area, and this is going towards Mercury. So Mercury is the area of skill. So it's a combination, a line of sun is getting the quality of Mercury. So it is good, I would say. Before I move on to the right hand, again one last thing on the left hand, the heart line is ending somewhere on the mount of Saturn. Same applies in your right hand. In the right hand, it is much more clear with ending somewhere on the mount of Saturn. So Saturn is basically for money. It is money, responsibility. This is for wisdom, money management. It is being grounded and knowing the ground situations very well. So it basically signifies that the person would give, like, for various people it's a little bit different. Even saint, they might have a line that is ending out here. You would say that this is money, materialistic person. Yes, I do agree, but at the same time, these are also responsible people. So whatever organization they go into, they are basically responsible and they give the best to the organization and they try to save money for the organization. Or Saturn is also for yourself. So the person would also do good for themselves as well, and they target towards money. So money, see, however we might deny, but money is important in our life. So people who have their heartline targeting Saturn means that they target towards money and they know the real situation. See, if a poor person comes and the person doesn't have in cold winter night, the person doesn't have any clothes, so this person would provide that person those clothes. So that at that given moment of the time, that person doesn't want good words, they want objects. So the person is a provider of objects to himself, to his family, his known ones, or whomever the person feels responsible to. So in that way it is good. It all depends upon your circle of influence or what you are targeting. There the results are going to take place, are going to be coming. So people who have the heartline reaching out here, those would be idealistic and sensitive. And so the person is not idealistic, the person is not very sensitive, and the person is basically a realist. So realistic comes from Saturn. So Saturn heartline ends on Saturn means targeting towards Saturn. All those things are happening. Example, I'm just going to give you a short example out here. Like Sonu Sood, you must have heard, his heartline ends out here. So when he had to make money, he made money, but at the same time he felt compelled that he should give something to the society. So he helped people reach their homes. So this is what basically I'm trying to convey. I hope you understood what I'm basically trying to convey out here. So so this is considered to be good. People with the heartline ending on the mount of Saturn do good for themselves, for their family, and other people as well. And on the lifeline, there's a backward 1 or 2 lines pointing upward. These are basically luck lines. Even this can be seen a little bit. The hand image is okay, but a little bit unclear, so I would ask him to send me repeat hand images. This portion comes somewhere around the age of 38 or so. This portion comes somewhere at the age of around 50. This is 55, 57. So this is what comes about, a square out here on with the formation of the money line out here. So a square like formation like brings in property, so property chances increase. A triangle, or if we see a triangle on the lifeline, or a triangle on the line of money, or a square, those things basically indicate property. So property chances increase. Another place to see for property is this particular area. This is the area of Mars. So Mars, whenever it is good, by good it means no bad lines, no crisscrossing lines, less lines, then the chances for benefits in property increases. It has two areas that are seen for property. This is the area of Mars and this is the area of Saturn. So these are reasonably good. So I would say that possibilities for property and property gains basically increase. And I would basically end the video, but I'm just going to give a last thing out here on the headline. On the headline towards the end, when we find the lines to be absolutely clear, the chances are that the person would be absolutely like in awareness in the last moments of his life as well. So the person would remain productive even the last moments. Even the sunline basically means to, and it's very deep and dark out here, so it means the person remains productive in the even after 50s as well, and the person basically never retires. It's not that the person is doing it for money, but it is the person is productive, and that's the reason the person is is working and working. That's what it basically represents. And I think probably I'm going to ask this particular person. He has given fingers something like this. This appears to be a long finger probably, but sometimes a person caves in the finger and sometimes the person is not, or some people stretch it too far, but I think it's reasonably long. It's crossing over the top line of the ring finger. So this Mercury finger is considered to be wrong out here. So long finger of Mercury is always considered to be good. It signifies good at communication. See, these are the communication towers. If a small communication tower is there, the reach is less. If the long communication tower, the reach is comparatively more. Even Manmohan Singh has this finger comparatively longer, so it's a very good sign to have. And it appears that the top portion of the fingers are long, so the person might be seeking mental stimulation. The second portion is basically physical stimulation, and the third portion is a bhogi. Bhogi means user of things. So people who have this area very fat and fluffy kind, those are the people who just want to enjoy. Those are the things that they want to do. That's the only thing that motivates them. But because the top portion of the line is comparatively long, it basically signifies that the person wants to be mentally stimulated. If the person is not mentally stimulated in his work, the person would be dissatisfied, and the person, if the person is dissatisfied, the person would not be motivated enough to do things. A little bit branches out here, the person might get distracted, but these are very small lines, so that's the reason I've kind of ignored them. The heart line is the most important line to have if it's deep and clear and similar. As we see in this case, the life is generally good, because it's not that the problems are not going to come to this particular person. Problems come, but because of a strong heart, the person faces the problems and basically moves ahead in their life. Now I'm going to basically end this particular video, but before I end this video, I would just add a few things. People want to know about money, possessions, wealth. We can come to know about money from almost every aspect of our palm. It can be heart line, head, life, sun, Mercury, Venus, Mars, or any other line. And a saint once said, you do not need to go to an astrologer or palmist to know about your future, because you already know your future. Present is a result of past. How will be my future? Future depends upon what you are doing in the present. What are we? We are product of our thoughts. So the thoughts that come to our mind are really important. Keep positive thoughts and keep good company, because company matters the most. Sometimes our hands are not so good, yet we are able to do very good because of the good company we have. And sometimes the hand shows excellent possibilities, but on the ground we find that things are not so good. It's because of the bad company. So thanks for watching. Bye and take care. Thanks again.